Batman v Superman. What a movie. Wow. There's a lot to say about it. You know, I'm going to try to keep this brief because there's just so much to cover. So, first thing I'll say, just right off the bat, is that all of our fears about the trailers were true. You know, those trailers basically gave the whole movie away. So when that second trailer came out, and you had everybody, you know, raging, saying that they gave away the entire movie. You know, you could basically piece together the movie based on what the trailer showed you. And then Zack Snyder came out and he tried to salvage that by, you know, saying like, no, like, you haven't seen anything yet. You've only seen a hint of what's really going to happen in the movie, you know. But that was bullshit. They really gave away the whole movie, like, beat for beat. So, you know, we surmised that, you know, it's going to start off with, you know, Bruce hates Batman because, Batman hates Superman because of the destruction he caused. Conflict happens, they fight, Wonder Woman jumps in, around the time Doomsday jumps in, and then that's the movie, that's the third act, and you're done. And that's exactly what happens. So, you already know exactly what's going to happen in this movie before seeing it. So that's the first thing. The marketing was terrible, they over-marketed it, and you know, DC just gave too much away, and I don't know if they were afraid people weren't going to see it, if they didn't just market the hell out of it. I mean, the movie title alone was enough to get people in the seats, but they just felt like they had to just bombard us with marketing. So, that's one issue right there. So, to break it down by character, we'll get the good out the way first. So, Affleck was fantastic. Ben Affleck's Batman was better than I expected. I was one of the naysayers at first, but once I saw him in the trailer and I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, I'm sold on it. You know, I was sold on it even before I saw the movie. And I was telling people, he's probably going to be the best part of the movie. Everything else is going to be weak, and it's going to make us want, the solo Batman movie, and that's exactly what happens. So his Bruce Wayne is good. I like his Bruce Wayne. It's more of that no nonsense, you know, detective, straight to the point Wayne, and the look, the gestures, the mannerisms is really good. And then, this is a version of Batman we haven't seen in the movies yet. And it's a version that exists in the comics. Because there's a lot of different takes and versions of Batman that you see from different eras, or depending who the writer is. So, we've already seen the hesitant Batman that doesn't feel like he wants to be Batman, which is like Bale's Batman. And he wants there to be an end game. He wants to be able to take off the cowl and the city not need him. And he's generally depressed, and it was great. It was a good version. This Batman, no nonsense, bone breaking, unapologetic. I'm gonna get the job done. I don't care who says what. I know what I'm doing. 20-year veteran, just straight to the point gangster. Great. Now, as far as Batman's character, the problem is the sequence of events and how they introduce him. So, the issue with this movie is just bad writing, bad editing, bad pacing, unnecessary scenes. Like, they could have given us a lot more of things we wanted to see and gave us too much of things that we didn't need. So, let's talk about how they introduced Batman. So, you get a lot of Bruce Wayne in the beginning. You get a lot of Affleck dealing with, the destruction and everything. So, as a movie fan, we're waiting for that establishment of Batman. We're waiting for them to introduce us to Batman. And then we don't see him. They do a scene where, like, he takes out criminals in a warehouse, but you still don't get a good look at him. You get kind of a moment where you see him for a second, and then he runs away, and then you get a glimpse of him. And like, it's all okay. So we didn't get a good look at him in the suit yet. And then the next thing we see is this dream sequence, which made no sense, had no place in the movie. And the first good look we see of Batman is him in the desert with the coat and the desert outfit with the mask, and then he's using guns and he's shooting people, and I'm like, what the fuck? And the whole audience was like, what is happening? And then you see aliens flying in, and then it was a dream sequence, and my whole crowd that I saw the movie was like, what? Like, unanimously at the same time. And that was the first look we got at Batman. And then we still don't see him in the suit until there's an action sequence in the Batmobile. So then we get to see him in action, but it's in the Batmobile. So we still haven't got a good look at him yet. And then the first time we see him actually in the suit fully, get a good look, is when Superman comes and rips the top off the Batmobile, and then he stands up, and we're like, oh, okay, now we finally get a look at him. And then we still don't see him in action in his regular suit until toward the end of the movie, because the next time you see him, he's in the metal suit. And then it was just jarring, the way they did it. And then from the moment when he's planning on fighting Superman, and they're doing all the planning and everything, I was waiting for a scene where like him and Alfred kind of explain the metal suit and like, as comic fans we know, but we have to look at this as in the face value. And I keep telling people this: you got to look at these movies at face value. Forget what you know in the comics. You have to judge it on what it is, and it's the movie, not the story it's coming from. So I'm waiting for that moment when they kind of establish that, okay, we're gonna have to use this suit and what the suit does and the purpose, and you never even get that moment. It's like 1 minute he's trying to get the kryptonite and planning to fight Superman. The next minute he steps out, boom, metal suit, and I'm like, okay, that was kind of a jump. And then the actual Batman vs Superman fight was like mad short. It was so much build up. It was like 45 minutes of build up for 5 minutes of payoff, and then the way the fight ended with the whole Martha thing was just stupid. Like, I'm sorry, that was such a letdown. So now, if we're gonna talk about the scene afterwards, so after when Batman goes to save Martha Kent, and that fight sequence in the warehouse was the single greatest live action on-screen Batman sequence I've ever seen. Like, that's the one thing I gotta say. That fight sequence was ridiculous. The way they shot it, the way he took on like multiple opponents and multitask, and he hit this guy to the left and this guy to the right, and like, he's got the 360 camera going. Like, that was perfect. That was straight out of the Arkham games, and that's exactly what they were going for, and they executed it flawlessly. So basically, I mean, with this is really turning into just me talking about Batman. So let's just keep it at Batman, because there's honestly too much to talk about. So the voice modulator thing I'm still undecided about that. I feel like his voice without the modulator was good enough, honestly. Like, I liked the way he sounded if he didn't have to use it. And then, like, sometimes it sounded okay, sometimes it was a little bit loud, and then, like, the "do you bleed?" Like, it sounded alright, but then, like, at the end when he's talking to Eisenberg in the prison, it was a little overwhelming, so but they got something there, they're going somewhere with that. So I'm hoping if they do a solo Batman movie, that maybe they'll cut back on that a little bit. But and Alfred as Jeremy Irons as Alfred was fantastic, honestly. Like, that was so good. So all the good parts of this movie was the Batman stuff, that was what I wanted, and then they kept pulling me away from that and just shoving all this other stuff. Like, every scene with Lex was horrible, and a lot of it was pointless. Like, the back and forth with the senator, and then there was no real resolution behind that, because they have the explosion and kills all these people, and then now Superman looks like even more of a criminal, right? So all this time they're trying to figure out, do we need Superman, and is he necessary? And then he looks even more guilty because of the explosion, and then never really resolve that or clear his name, because after that he disappears for a while, and then he comes out, to fight Batman, and then the Doomsday fight happens, and then even more destruction is caused, right? So it's not like, he saved the Earth when he fought Zod, but there was a good amount of people hating him for that. Now he fights Doomsday, causes just as much destruction fighting Doomsday, and then, he dies fighting Doomsday, which is stupid. They wasted the Death Superman story. And then, everybody's mourning him, but I'm like, all those people who had a problem with him before, which is like, it looked like half the people in the world, there was nothing that happened to sway their opinion on him. So his death was really anticlimactic and like pointless, and like just the fact that he died fighting this guy doesn't clear his name in the public eye. So it's like nobody was there to really mourn him except for the people close to him and the people that knew him. So it was like, if they were going to do Death of Superman, they should have waited till like after Justice League, or when there's people there to really mourn him or to establish him as a hero, and not as this 50-50 sort of hated anti-hero, So it's like there was no emotion behind it. That death was just stupid, Yeah, Eisenberg was terrible. Wonder Woman I liked. Wonder Woman was really good. We just didn't get enough of her, So a lot of that shit was shoehorned in, and it just felt like there was 3 different movies happening at the same time. So like I felt like they started a Man of Steel 2 script, which was what all those scenes, with Superman being questioned in his morality and what he's doing for the Earth and if we need him. So that's like, I felt like they were going somewhere with that, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now it's Batman v Superman, but then later on they're like, no wait, we got to establish Justice League because we got to catch up to Marvel, and then they start shoehorning in Wonder Woman, which the movie could have been the same without her, honestly. Like, she was cool, but there was no reason for her to be there at all. Just imagine the Doomsday fight scene without her in it, and it would have been the same movie. She was just like an extra body there to jump in and fight, but pointless, you know? And it was just, you know, and let me just clarify something, because, I mean, there's so much to say, so I'm going to try to keep this short. I just wanted to talk about the good first, which was Batman. Let me just clarify something. I love Marvel, okay? I love Marvel more than DC, and I'm not biased against DC because Batman is my favorite superhero, okay? And I'm open-minded to things DC, like I've never been a fan, but I don't want DC to fail, you know? So this isn't a Marvel versus DC thing, and I just hate how people keep turning it into like, you have to choose sides, and you know, like, and Marvel fanboys are like, DC sucks, like, it's stupid, like, all these movies are here to entertain us, okay? It reminds me of like the, you know, the Genesis versus Super Nintendo battles, or the Xbox versus PlayStation. It's like, at the end of the day, there's just more stuff for us to be entertained by. There's more content out there, and the competition is good for us as the consumer because they want to give us something to watch, you know, or to play, whatever. So, you know, the whole picking sides and being prideful thing is stupid, honestly. So, you know, me saying I'm more of a fan of Marvel isn't me saying I don't like DC, okay? I just grew up more with Marvel characters, and yes, I know that Marvel copied a lot of DC's characters, but ultimately their execution has been better. Let's not fool ourselves. Marvel's execution has been better, more planned, more carefully crafted. You know, they know exactly what they're doing. They have the plan down. It's working perfectly. They're integrating the TV shows with the movies. You know, it's perfection, and it's a template that nobody else can follow. And DC is trying desperately to follow it, and they're failing horribly. And again, this isn't me saying I don't want DC to succeed. I'm just pointing out what their problem is. And their problem is that they're so caught on trying to play catch up, and they're doing everything backwards. So they're giving you the team movies first. They're giving you the team ups first. They're giving you Justice League first. And then we're going to get a Flash movie and a Cyborg movie and a Green Lantern movie. And it's stupid. It makes no sense. And already out the gate, you see what the flaws are. Like, Man of Steel as a whole is a better movie than Batman vs. Superman. It is a better movie just because, you know, regardless of what your issues were with it, you know, as far as tone and everything, that's a different thing. But as far as the movie and the fact that it focused on one character and one villain and one story, it was better execution, and that was really what started the DC universe. So they should have just made Man of Steel 2 and taken their time, but they just are so fixated on trying to catch up to Marvel, and now it's shooting them in the foot. And the thing is, they're gonna make money regardless, you know. But this movie is gonna make a lot of money, but this is gonna hurt their future movies. So Wonder Woman, I hope is gonna be good. I hope it is going to be good, and there's potential there, but there's going to be less people excited about it now, you know, because this left a bad taste in their mouth, and right out the gate, DC's fucking up. I'm sorry to say. So I'm hoping that this will make them push ahead the Batman solo movie, because that's what fans liked, and that's better for them, honestly, and I hope for it. And it should be a prequel. It shouldn't be a sequel. It should be a prequel that establishes more of that universe, you know. So let's see if that happens. This went on longer than I wanted to. I'm trying to keep it short, but there was just too much to say. But yeah, that's my thoughts. And, you know, like I said, stop fanboying, stop choosing sides. You know, one of the best Bruce Lee quotes, one of my favorite Bruce Lee quotes is, the struggle between for and against is the mind's worst disease. So, you know, people are so fixated on trying to be part of this team or part of that team, and they're just causing more conflict instead of just embracing everything that's out there. So, you know, fanboys who are mad about critics giving it bad reviews, and, you know, it's just, you gotta take the medium for what it is. You're gonna judge a movie on being a movie. You're not judging a movie on the source material it's based off of, you know. Anyway, let me stop rambling. So that was my quick thoughts on the movie. A lot more to say, but I just wanted to give a quick summary of some of the things I had in my mind. So maybe I'll make another follow-up. Otherwise, talk to you later, guys. Have a good one.